influence has to start earlier. The four fields are organizational structure, system structure, and I will explain what I mean with. I call it the star system because these 10 dimensions that are in between are going like the arrows of a star to the outside, and you can see it also to the inside. And then first there's system structure or organizational structure. Then you have a system process, organizational process. You have system balances, and you have organizational pulsation. I will now come to the details in it. First to the organizational structure. The most interesting factor in an organization is where are the attention focuses. Yeah, what are people really doing there? Where are the minds of the people? It can be the purpose or the identity of the organization. We will come to that maybe in Anita's presentation again. What is the attention focus? That seems to be a soft factor, but it is the hardest. Where the attention is, there goes the money. Is there a vision? Is there a strategy? How about operational questions? Where is the focus of the attention? We developed a questionnaire with 7 questions that is published in, unfortunately, only in German up to now. For all these dynamics, these 10 dynamics are in the 4-field model, with which you can, with 7 questions, you can assess the organization regarding the attention focuses, or are they relevant, or is the organization built up good. And please keep in mind, money flows where the attention flows. It's like the famous song, "Love grows where rosemary goes." Roles is the next point. It's on the head. What ego states are for the person are the roles in an organization. What do we have as organization? How does an organization create organizational roles? Are they clear? How are they produced? Are they adjusted to developments in the environment? And. Since Bernd Schmidt's role theory, we know more about this point. We will come to that later. Then we have system relationships. System relationships means how are relations in an organization. In TA work, one of the key issues of a process. Are they professional? Are they personal? Are they private? Are they by birth? Or are they by performance? How are the relations? What is important in the relation? There is a big German insurance company where all managers come from a certain, I don't know the English word, maybe you can help me, of a certain community of students who are fighting with the fencing. Yeah, okay, some conservative. So there it is by a certain relation. So system relations. How do they come in an organization? The next part is organizational processes. There are 3 organizational processes in every organization. We have communication processes, problem-solving processes, and success processes. Communication. In every organization there is a specific type of communication. Maybe in a bigger organization, different in different departments of the organization, but then you can have to look at the department. What is the regular communication? Do they talk, managers and workers together, have their regular meetings, and what is it? How are emotions included in the communication? Do we talk about, are we allowed to talk about emotions like anger or fear or even joy? How is emotions dealt with? So how is the use of modern methods like email or social networks? It's a communication issue. Then the problem solving. So organizations are made for problem solving, but some are discounting problems and solutions. We will come to that later also. Then we have success. Every organization has to have some kind of success. The minimum of success for every contributor or every participant in economy is to keep liquidity. You have not to earn a lot of money, but you have to be able to pay the bills. Liquidity, that is the non plus ultra of the organization and of the private economic partners also. So organizations have to have success. And we talked yesterday about values in organizations. And at this point, the individual and the organizational values are sometimes very different. If we ask all the workers in an organization about their individual values, that doesn't make it all. You have also organizational values that the organization is kept alive. So the next point is more, it goes about the system balances. There are 2 points, the balance tendency or the tendency to the equilibriums. Erskine talked about that, Richard Erskine talked about that yesterday, that there is a homeostasis, there is a difference between a balance or an equilibrium on the one hand and of growth on the other hand. And in organizations you have a lot of ideas of people about balances and about equilibriums. There are equilibriums of the past, often in a nostalgic way. Seeing the past always is, for a lot of people, is better than the present. Then you have equilibriums of the future, so-called visions. But you have to look where's the organization there, is the organization at an equilibrium or not? And in modern economic theory you are thinking of a steady path of equilibriums, that there is something ambivalent in it. It is, on the one hand, it is a kind of homeostasis, on the other hand, it is a constant development or change. Then there is a new word, recursivity. I took it from the famous British organizational researcher Stafford Beer, who found out that there is something of the repetitive patterns in organization are helpful, that you can recognize and acknowledge an organization. If an organization is too different in its departments, then it loses energy and performance and money. It's like in a picture, it's like the Russian puppet or the Russian doll. If you open it, you have all the same structure in it. And so the top management of an organization has to work with the same principles as a workers' team. Or nearly, it has to be similar. That is good for an organization. Then I would like to come back to traditional TA with the pulsation. It's also a new term, but for people used to TA, it's a kind of development of the boundaries of Bern. There are outer boundaries of, or outside boundaries of every organization, and there are inside boundaries. Means to see it dynamic as we have to do it in organizations today. We sometimes have so-called federal organizations, as Charles Handy named them. You don't really know who is member of the organization and who not. Is the consultant already a member, or are all the people with part-time contracts or something around the organization, or some pieces outsourced? Are they members or part of the organization or not? That is outside pulsation, and the organization is still breathing, so to say, in a metaphor, at the outside. Also, it's very interesting how is the inside pulsation, how are the subsystems of an organization, what is are stronger parts or departments of the organization, and what are parts that are weaker. And that is all often not from the base of economic logic, but the wheel that squeezes the most, or what is it called, gets the most investment or the most money. And so are the subsystems or the inner pulsation in an organization. So today, the perspective of this star model can guide us through the day of the symposium. Oh, now for a moment, sometimes for organizational teams or for management teams, I place it in this way. It's not a difference to the star model. We had it with Anita yesterday also. Some people are more likely to think in a more structured way than having a dynamic star, to have it in a flow chart, so then you can see all these connections, and if someone like to know some more about it, could look into the books where it is put down. So I wanted to say how it guides us through the day, and I have to ask the presenters of the open space from Mercy not to strangle me when I put the open space ideas of the afternoon aside to the model, that we have some structure. Where is the focus in the pieces we will hear? So for the structure of the attention focus, maybe Anita will talk about that around the purpose of organizations, and Thomas will talk about the role theory, mention it. That is another arrow of the star. We will listen to Rosemary, changing systemic culture. I placed it in the balance area. Then Annette will talk about motivation and TA theory. What is interesting, especially if the organization is challenged by an outsourcing or by a decreasing process, then the motivation question is very interesting. Then maybe Anita will look how many presentations we will have in the afternoon, can talk about the 3D okayness, also a relational aspect. Then I'm glad that Anne and Joost from the Netherlands will talk about business as usual, and behind this topic will be something about ethics in organizational TA, and I think that is very interesting after the financial and economic and state crisis around the attention focus we have to have today. Then Bettina will talk about contracting and the Zurich resource model. The Zurich resource model is very good to connect to TA, and I placed it more or less to the communication processes. Then Werner Vogelau will talk about coaching and change management. I placed him at the arrow of the problem solving, but I know it's a lot more he has to talk about. So Rosa will, I placed you to the success field. As I said, every organization has to have success, and Rosa has done research on the effectiveness of TA trainings outside of the therapeutical sector, and that I think we can see some success of our work by this. And last but not least, Ulrika has proposed to talk about a change example, a very interesting change example I already heard from her in the organization. So we have a round program and can do a lot for the variety, and also to look at the whole organization, and in between there will be place to discuss about it.